Welcome to the very first episode where we confront the most massive mechanical monster ever built by human hands today. This is the legendary Icon of the Seas, weighing over 250,000 tons of pure steel and luxury. Taking down this colossal floating city is no longer a simple construction job. It is an absolute mechanical war zone. We must carefully dismantle the complex upper superstructure first, including massive water parks and beautifully constructed giant glass dome roofs. I take control of the massive high-reach excavator, extending its powerful steel arms 60 meters into the bright sky. The powerful hydraulic shears start chewing right through the heavy load-bearing steel frames of the colorful waterslide system. The loud sound of shattering tempered glass mixes perfectly with screeching steel to create a terrifying symphony of complete destruction. Our absolute biggest challenge here involves the safe dismantling of those massive and highly dangerous liquid natural gas fuel tanks. We must cut through the extremely thick protective shell using intensely burning oxygas torches at 3,000 degrees Celsius. Every single meter of steel that falls away represents dozens of tons of valuable recycled material successfully recovered for reuse. As the giant dome finally collapses, thick dust clouds completely obscure the sky, marking the end of a luxurious era. Look at this massive ship resting quietly in the huge dry dock before the heavy demolition equipment even arrives here. Decades of engineering marvels are now waiting patiently to be torn apart by our highly skilled heavy machinery operating team. The sheer scale of this ocean giant makes our largest excavators look like tiny plastic toys sitting on the ground. We have gathered the most experienced demolition crew in the entire world to tackle this unprecedented mechanical dismantling challenge today. Before any cutting begins, we must drain all remaining hazardous fluids from the extensive pipe networks hidden within the ship. Safety protocols are strictly enforced because one small mistake in this metallic labyrinth could lead to a catastrophic structural failure. Engineers carefully study the original blueprints to identify the critical load-bearing walls that keep the massive superstructure standing upright. Giant cranes move into position alongside the hull, ready to lower heavy equipment onto the top deck of the vessel. The initial phase requires us to strip away the luxurious interior furnishings before we can reach the bare steel skeleton. Workers wearing protective gear systematically remove miles of electrical wiring that once powered the dazzling entertainment systems of the ship. Countless luxury cabins are swiftly gutted, transforming spaces of joy into empty metal boxes waiting for the final crushing blow. Now the real heavy machinery rolls onto the scene, shaking the solid concrete ground with their massive diesel engine roars. The high-reach excavator is a true marvel of modern engineering, designed specifically for tearing down towering structures with precision. Its incredibly long arm stretches toward the sky, ending in a specialized hydraulic attachment capable of crushing solid steel beams. The operator sits safely inside an armored cabin, using advanced camera systems to monitor the destruction happening high above him. We focus our initial attack on the highest point of the ship, the iconic multi-level water park recreation area. Brightly colored fiberglass slides that once echoed with happy laughter are now ruthlessly snapped into pieces by the steel jaws. Huge chunks of plastic and metal plummet down into the designated drop zones, creating deafening crashes echoing across the yard. The excavator moves with surprising grace, delicately picking apart the intricate support structures like a giant mechanical praying mantis feeding. Water pipes burst open, releasing trapped moisture that mixes with the rising dust to create a thick, muddy rain below. As the water park disappears, we turn our attention to the magnificent central glass dome that covers the main promenade. This architectural masterpiece features thousands of individual tempered glass panels supported by a complex web of high-strength aluminum framing. Dismantling the dome requires extreme caution because a sudden collapse could send razor-sharp glass shards flying in all directions. We use specialized grapple attachments to gently grip the main support arches before applying the crushing force needed to break. The sound of breaking glass is continuous and overwhelming, like a massive, frozen waterfall suddenly shattering into a million pieces. Sunlight streams through the newly opened gaps, illuminating the skeletal remains of the once glamorous indoor tropical garden area below. Heavy loaders rush in to clear the debris, their large metal buckets scraping against the steel deck with harsh screeches. Every piece of scrap is meticulously sorted into different piles, separating valuable aluminum from the endless mountains of shattered glass. The recycling process is a crucial part of our operation, ensuring that the materials from this ship find new life. Now we face the most intimidating phase of the entire project, dealing with the massive liquid natural gas fuel tanks. These gigantic cylindrical containers were built to withstand immense pressure and feature extremely thick layers of specialized thermal insulation materials. Before cutting can commence, specialized teams must verify that absolutely no explosive gas vapors remain trapped inside the massive tanks. Giant ventilation fans blow fresh air through the empty chambers, ensuring a completely safe working environment for our cutting crews. Workers equip themselves with heavy-duty, heat-resistant suits and dark welding masks before igniting their powerful oxy-gas torches. The torches roar to life, projecting intensely bright blue flames that can easily reach temperatures exceeding 3,000 degrees Celsius. When the superheated flame touches the thick steel shell, brilliant showers of glowing orange sparks erupt violently into the air. The cutters slowly slice through the heavy metal, leaving behind glowing red edges that slowly cool down into dark slag. It takes hours of exhausting physical labor to complete a single circular cut around the circumference of the fuel tank. Giant cranes attach thick steel cables to the severed tank sections, pulling them away with groaning sounds of tearing metal. The exposed interior of the fuel tank reveals a complex maze of internal baffles designed to prevent liquid sloshing around. Our hydraulic shears return to the front line, effortlessly biting through these internal structures and reducing them to manageable scrap pieces. The sheer volume of high-grade steel recovered from these tanks alone is enough to build a small modern skyscraper. We utilize massive electromagnetic cranes to lift tons of loose metal scraps, transferring them directly into waiting heavy transport trucks. The magnetic disc hums with immense electrical power, holding on to jagged metal fragments with an unbreakable, invisible force of nature. As the days pass, the once proud profile of the icon of the seas becomes increasingly unrecognizable and completely broken. The massive luxury cruise ship has been systematically reduced to a chaotic landscape of twisted metal and jagged steel edges. We now focus on the main hull, the thickest and most heavily reinforced section of the entire floating luxury vessel. Massive plasma cutters are deployed to slice through the heavy armor plating that once protected the ship from ocean waves. The cutting process generates thick plumes of toxic black smoke, requiring our workers to use advanced respiratory protection equipment constantly. Huge blocks of the hull weighing hundreds of tons each are carefully detached and lowered to the dry dock floor. The ground trembles violently every time one of these massive steel blocks makes impact with the solid concrete foundation below. Heavy-duty forklifts scurry around the demolition site like busy metallic ants, moving heavy components to the designated processing areas. We discover massive bronze propellers at the rear of the ship, beautiful engineering marvels that once pushed this giant forward. Dismantling the propulsion system requires extreme precision as the massive drive shafts are tightly integrated into the heavy engine block. The engine room is a dark metallic cave filled with a lingering smell of old diesel fuel and heavy grease. Giant wrenches and hydraulic pullers are used to unbolt the massive engine components piece by heavy piece from their mounts. The enormous pistons, each larger than a grown man, are pulled from their cylinders and dragged away for immediate recycling. As we hollow out the lower decks, the structural integrity of the remaining hull becomes increasingly unstable and highly dangerous. We must carefully balance the removal of material from both sides of the ship to prevent a disastrous sudden rollover. Surveyors constantly monitor the hull with highly precise laser measurement tools to detect any microscopic shifts in the metal structure. The final sections of the bow stand tall like a lonely steel cliff, the last recognizable feature of the ship. We bring in our largest demolition excavator equipped with a massive hydraulic hammer to break down the reinforced bow structure. The rhythmic pounding of the giant hammer echoes for miles, a steady drumbeat signaling the final moments of the vessel. Thick steel plates buckle and tear under the relentless mechanical assault, surrendering to the overwhelming power of our modern machinery. Sparks rain down like a mechanical meteor shower as the cutting torches sever the final structural supports holding the bow. A loud warning siren blares across the shipyard, signaling all personnel to clear the immediate area for the final collapse. The massive steel structure groans in agony as gravity finally takes hold, pulling the remaining thousands of tons downward fast. The impact is absolutely earth-shattering, sending a massive shockwave through the ground that rattles teeth and shakes the cameras. A gigantic cloud of pulverized rust and gray dust erupts into the sky, completely blocking out the bright afternoon sun. We wait patiently for the thick dust to settle, revealing a massive pile of twisted metal where the bow stood. The icon of the seas has been completely erased from existence, transformed back into raw materials ready for new purposes. Our fleet of heavy transport trucks works tirelessly through the night, hauling away the last remaining mountains of scrap metal. The dry dock is slowly swept clean, leaving behind only scattered rust stains and deep gouges in the concrete floor. It is incredibly humbling to witness the complete disassembly of such a massive and complex human engineering achievement like this. We have successfully turned a 250,000-ton luxury cruise ship into a highly profitable mountain of scrap. The recycled steel from this vessel will soon be melted down and forged into new bridges, buildings, and future ships. This entire demolition process is a beautiful cycle of destruction and rebirth, essential for the continuous progress of human civilization. Our skilled team of workers and engineers has executed this highly dangerous mission with flawless precision and perfect safety records. Operating these massive mechanical beasts requires intense concentration, steady hands, and a deep understanding of complex structural engineering principles. Every day, we push our heavy machinery to the absolute limits, testing the durability of steel against the relentless force of hydraulics. The sparks, the noise, and the dust are all part of a hard day of work in the demolition industry. We take immense pride in our unique ability to tear down the largest structures ever built by modern human hands. As the sun sets over the empty dry dock, we prepare our heavy equipment for the next major demolition challenge. There is always another massive structure waiting to be safely dismantled by our highly experienced and incredibly dedicated professional team. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey through the epic destruction of the legendary icon of the seas. This has been another successful project completed by the Demolition Worker channel. We will see you in the next episode.